Leg 6 of the 2017-18 Volvo Ocean Race opened as a physical test of endurance for the sailors. Choppy sea states, winds upwards of 30 knots, provided uncomfortable conditions for the sailors, both above deck and below.
No, not a joke. I can't wait for the doldrums. All my gear's soaking wet, so I'm looking forward to getting everything nice and dry and kind of recharging the batteries.
But just over a week into the leg, as the physical conditions eased, the mental pressure started to ratchet up. Team AkzoNobel and Sun Hung Kai Scallywag capitalized on an earlier decision to take an inside track on the leading quartet, finding better winds and making faster daily runs, moving them up the rankings to the head of the fleet.
It's super long way to go, of course, but it's fantastic to lead. And I mean, it's always better to lead than to follow. But now with the upcoming areas we're going to sail into around the equator with lighter winds, into the doldrums, it's a big challenge for us because you make choices and basically the guys following you can see if they work out or not. So that's always then you're a bit of a vulnerable spot, but we'll see.
In contrast, Mapfre and Dongfeng Race Team, first and second on the overall leaderboard, locked into their own private match race. But uncharacteristically, it was at the back of the fleet, as equatorial cloud systems and unstable winds resulted in big losses against Turn the Tide on Plastic and Team Brunel.
Not at a good position, I think we should be more east, but so we follow Mapfre, and for the first time you make a really bad choice, I think. And now we have to try to go west, but that's going to be tough.
The last day has been pretty challenging. We've been stuck in no wind at times, and a lot of the other boats have come past us with pressure. So I'm pretty sure we're at the back of the fleet now. We know there's so many transitions to come, and it's so far to go to Auckland that the trick is not to get too happy when you're in front and not to get too sad when you're behind.
10 days into the leg, the leading boats have crossed the equator. This is a notoriously fickle area for ocean racers. It's the doldrums, and is known for its unstable weather systems. Here again, Scallywag and AkzoNobel have made miles on the fleet, with a relatively easy passage, while those behind found themselves adrift and becalmed for hours at a time.
Well, we had a pretty bad sked, the last sked, so that was really frustrating, and we've had a horrible night of really rubbish clouds that have sucked all the wind away, and it looks like we're all heading for a similar area, but we've got to hope that they get some unlucky clouds, we have a faster angle, and then hopefully we'll all kind of join up again and have another fleet restart. That's probably the best thing that can happen for us at the moment.
There was a brief respite as a short band of westerly trade winds provided stable conditions before the next light wind transition at the Solomon Islands. Playing their cards right was Sun Hung Kai Scallywag, who took a narrow lead over Simeon Tanpont's Team AkzoNobel.
Yeah, the Scallywags have had a very successful day, 3 consecutive skeds. So in 3 consecutive skeds we've gone from 54 miles behind to 6 miles in front. But we've got a lot of light air we've got to get through, and XO are only 6 miles behind, so yeah. 2 boat runs. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling, son. Yeah.
12 days into the leg and the psychological pressure was higher than ever, with the fleet compressing once again. The leaders were looking nervously over their shoulders at the chasing pack, closing down the hard-earned gains of the past week. Bauer Becking's Team Brunel continued to rack up big numbers, extending their advantage over 4th place Turn the Tide on Plastic, and positioning themselves within striking distance, less than 10 miles behind their Dutch rivals on Team AkzoNobel.
Our next obstacle is really to get out of the doldrums, which will be near the Solomon Islands coming up. In the meantime, we've got some sort of reverse trade winds, which we're making good progress. So right now it's okay, but I mean, as I say, at the Solomon Islands there'll be another shutdown and a compression of the fleet, and it's just how we can make the most of that.
There is more of this ahead, and a complete shake-up of the leaderboard is very possible. The fleet is expected to compress once again, with winds forecast to ease significantly, opening up a chance for the trailing boats to get back in the fight. With just under 2,000 miles to go, the fleet is expected to finish in Auckland in around 10 days' time, but the order across the finish line is far from settled.